The night was quiet in the small town of Ashmore. The sky was clear and the stars looked like silver dust. There was no wind, no traffic, no sound. Only the soft humming of insects and the ticking of old clocks in sleepy homes. Lena Harper stood on her porch, sipping tea. She had just put her son Danny to bed. He was 7 years old, full of questions about space, rockets, and stars. Tonight, he had asked, "Mom, do you think aliens are real?" She had laughed. "I think the universe is too big for us to be alone." Danny had nodded slowly and said, "I hope they're nice if they come." Lena smiled at the memory. The air was cool, peaceful, too peaceful. Then it happened. A sharp flash of blue light tore across the sky. It wasn't lightning. It didn't fade. It pulsed once, twice, 3 times and vanished. Then, silence again. Lena held her breath. Her teacup shook in her hand. Dogs barked. Lights turned on across the street. People came out of their houses looking up, pointing, whispering. "What was that?" someone asked. "A meteor?" Another said. Lena said nothing. She looked up and saw a strange shape in the sky. Like a dark, smooth triangle. It floated above the trees. It made no sound. And then it disappeared. The next day, the government arrived quickly. Black cars. Black uniforms. No names. No smiles. They told the people. It was just a weather balloon. Nothing to worry about. But something had changed. The town was not the same. That morning, the sun felt cold. The birds were quiet. And people noticed something stranger. A few children were missing. The first missing child, Danny Harper, was gone. Lena woke up and found his bed empty. No footprints, no open doors. Just a single silver feather on the pillow. She screamed. Police searched everywhere. Neighbors helped. Drones flew. Dogs sniffed. Cameras were checked. Nothing. It was as if Danny had vanished into the air. Lena wasn't the only one. 2 other families reported missing children the same day. All aged between 6 and 9. The town went into panic. Some blamed kidnappers. Some said it was a curse. Some whispered, "It's the aliens." The return 3 days later, at exactly midnight, Danny came back. Lena heard a knock on the front door. She opened it, and there he was, standing still, smiling, wearing the same clothes, holding the same toy spaceship. But something was wrong. His eyes were glowing faint blue. His skin was warm to touch. He didn't speak much. "Where were you?" Lena cried. Danny just said, "They showed me the sky." He would not say who they were. The others returned to the other children also. Came back, just like Danny, quiet, calm, smiling, and all with a silver feather in their pockets. Doctors examined them. No wounds, no signs of trauma. Their bodies were healthy. In fact, too healthy. Their vision was perfect. One child had diabetes before. Now he IDN single quotes D. Another was mute. Now she spoke 4 languages. "What did they do to you?" a doctor asked. The girl replied, "They made us better." The visitors revealed themselves. 4 days later, the sky turned red at sunset. Another flash. Another pulse of blue light. And this time, they came, not in secret. Not in the dark. The alien ships floated down from the clouds like falling leaves, smooth, silent, bright. They landed in parks, fields, parking lots. They opened, not with weapons, but with gifts. Small silver boxes. Inside, medical tools, food capsules, glowing energy stones. They spoke through light, sound, and feeling. "We come in peace." A voice echoed in many minds. Lena heard it too. Not with her ears, but inside her thoughts. The voice said, "We are called the Varans. We want to help. Your children are special." Earth Responds world leaders met. News channels exploded. Some praised Varans. Others warned about tricks. But the Varans made no demands. They gave free energy, clean water, Healing machines. And then they left. But they said one thing before they went. We will return for the children. The town changes. Ashmore became famous. Scientists came to study the children. Lena's house was full of cameras and tests. Danny sat still during interviews. Where did they take you? One reporter asked. He replied, beyond the clouds, to a place without time. Were you scared? No. I felt loved. Strange powers. Soon, people noticed more changes. Danny could hear people's thoughts. Another child could bend metal with his fingers. One girl healed a dying cat with a touch. What are they becoming? People asked. The Varans had changed them, but how and why? Lena asked Danny one night, are you still my son? He looked at her. His eyes glowed again. I am more than your son now, he said gently. But I still love you. The warning. 1 week later, all the returned children stood outside at the same time, looking at the sky. They spoke in one voice together. They are coming again, this time, for more. The fear grows. Not everyone welcomed the Varans. Some churches called them demons. Some governments wanted to use the children as weapons. Some parents began to hide their kids. But the children knew. They always knew. They will find us, Danny told Lena. How? She asked. Because we called them. Final scene, hook ending. That night, Lena heard a strange sound outside, a deep hum. A soft light. She ran out and saw dozens of alien ships hovering over houses. One by one, children walked out of their homes, calmly, as if in a dream. Lena held Danny's hand tightly. Don't go, she whispered. He looked at her with love but no fear. I have to. Why? He leaned closer and whispered, because they showed me the future. And Earth doesn't survive without us. As he walked toward the ship, the ground shook, the sky split, and a second, much larger ship began to descend. The ships vanished before sunrise. When the people of Ashmore woke up, 12 more children were gone. No broken doors. No signs of struggle. Just silence. And silver feathers left on pillows. Lena Harper sat on her porch, staring at the sky. Her son Danny had left the night before. He had gone to the Varans by choice. Her hands trembled as she held his toy spaceship. The streets were empty. Parents locked their doors. Reporters were shouting on TV. Governments were arguing. But Lena wasn't listening to any of it. She was listening to the quiet, and she was waiting for a sign. Day 3. Danny returns again on the third night. Just like before, Lena heard a knock on her door. She ran to open it, and there he was. Danny stood there, barefoot, with his hands by his side. His eyes still glowed faint blue, but his smile was warmer now. Danny! Lena cried and hugged him tight. You came back, he whispered. I told you I would. Changed, not human, but Danny was different again. He didn't eat. He didn't sleep. He barely blinked. He spent hours just sitting outside, eyes closed, breathing slowly. One evening, Lena found him touching the grass. The dead plants around him turned green. She stared. How are you doing this? Danny turned his glowing eyes toward her. I'm not doing it. We are. Who's we? He looked up at the sky and said, the ones who fixed us. More children. More changes. All the children who had been taken returned within a week. Each one was different. One boy could lift cars. One girl could hear voices across town. Another could control machines with her mind. Some started speaking in strange, unknown languages, Varan words. They were polite, calm, and quiet, but they no longer acted like normal children. One parent shouted on the news, "These are not our kids. These are aliens in their bodies." But the children kept smiling. The message from the sky. Then came the second message. A flash of light in the sky. A deep voice in every mind. These children are a gift. They are your hope. Protect them or lose your future. The world stopped. Some people believed it. Others feared it. One general said, If these kids are weapons, we must control them. But you can't control what you don't understand. Tests and lies, doctors and scientists were brought in to test the children. Danny was taken to a lab. They scanned his brain. What they found shocked them. His brain was growing. New pathways, new lights, new thoughts. He's evolving, one scientist whispered. He's not like us anymore. But then Danny looked at the doctor and said, "Please stop. That needle will break, and I don't want anyone hurt." Seconds later, the needle snapped. Whispers of a network. The children began to act connected. They would move together, speak the same words, share the same dreams. One girl drew a map of the stars. When asked how she knew, she said, "He showed me." "Who?" "Our teacher," she said. "The Varan inside us." That word scared people. Inside us. Were the Varans using the children? Or had the children become something else? The protest in Washington, London, Beijing, millions marched. Some held signs, "Protect the gifted." Others held signs, "Send them back." Lena watched the news and felt her chest tighten. "Danny," she asked, "why are they so afraid?" He looked at her sadly. "Because they know we are different, and different things always scare people." Something dark appears in a far city. A child named Aishan began to scream. She said, "They're not all good. One of them is wrong, broken." Hours later, her house burned without fire, no smoke, just black dust in the air. Her parents vanished. She appeared on live TV, eyes glowing black instead of blue. She said one sentence, "The dark Varan is here. It wants to rule." Then she fainted, and the world panicked. Project Recall begins. Governments formed a secret task force. Project Recall. Their mission: find out what's inside the children. Control or remove alien influence. Use gifted children to fight if war begins. The project had one simple belief: they came in peace. But they're building something else. Danny's warning. Lena found Danny one night, standing under the rain. He wasn't wet. The drops hit his skin and disappeared. She said, "Come inside." He said, "The storm is not from the sky, Mom. It's from inside us." "What storm?" He turned and looked at her with sad, glowing eyes. "One child will choose the wrong path, and that path will break the world." A final test. The children were gathered in a secret camp, all under watch. But one night, a girl named Mia spoke to every child without words. In a second, they all stood up, eyes glowing. Guards raised guns. But the children didn't run. They walked outside and stood in the grass, hand in hand. One child whispered, "If you lock us up, Earth will never survive what's coming." A minute later, all the lights went out. When they came back, the children were gone. The world divides. Half the world wanted to destroy the ships, destroy the children, destroy the Varans. The other half called them the future of humanity. A new name spread across the world: the gifted. Lena sat on her couch, holding Danny's photo. He was out there somewhere, maybe in the sky, maybe underground. She remembered his last words before he left. "They changed us to protect you, but you keep pushing us away." She looked up at the stars. And for the first time, she didn't feel alone. She felt watched. She felt judged. And somewhere, deep inside, she felt something was coming. It started with a phone call that never connected. Then, the internet dropped. Then the lights went out. Only in Ashmore, the same small town where the Varans first came. The town where the first children disappeared. The town where Danny Harper was born. Ashmore was gone. No sound, no signal, no people. Just silence. Day 1. The blackout satellite images showed the town still there. Streets, houses, cars. But when police tried to enter, their radios died. When drones flew over, they vanished from radar. No messages came out. No lights turned on. No one answered their doors. Ashmore had become a dead zone. The government responds at a high-level meeting in a military base. The words were simple and cold: quarantine the town. Do not engage. observe and wait. But Project Recall had other ideas. They sent a special team of 6 soldiers, trained in alien contact, armed with EMP rifles and mine shield helmets. Their mission: enter Ashmore, find the children, report what happened. The lead soldier was Major Sarah Lane. She had no family, no fear, no lies, but she had one secret. She had once seen a Varan face to face and survived. Entering Ashmore, the team entered at dawn. Thick fog covered the road. No birds, no wind, no sound. As they crossed the town line, all their tech died. No GPS, no comms, no video. Only their body cams recorded, but the signal was lost. The last message from Sarah came 90 seconds later. She said, "Something's wrong. The children, they're not children anymore." Then static. What the cameras showed later, the government recovered the camera footage. The images were strange. Ashmore looked untouched, no signs of war or damage, but people were standing in the streets, still, silent, eyes open, not blinking. Men, women, teenagers, all frozen like statues. Sarah approached one woman. "Ma'am, are you okay?" she asked. No reply got. Then the woman opened her mouth and a beam of blue light shot out. Sarah fell to her knees, the awakening in. The next frame, the team was surrounded by children, dozens of them. Smiling, eyes glowing brighter than before. They said in one voice, "You came to control us, but you need to be healed." One soldier raised his gun. Danny Harper stepped forward. "You're afraid of change," he said softly. "We're not here to fight." Then everything turned white. The cameras shut off. The empty rescue. A day later, Project Recall sent in another team. All 6 soldiers were found alive, but their minds were empty. They could not speak. They could not write. They only stared into the sky, whispering the same word again and again: connected. The news spreads. The story was leaked. Now the world knew. The Gifted had taken over a town. Some called it invasion. Some called it evolution. Ashmore was renamed in news headlines, The Silent Zone. Lena returns. Lena Harper couldn't stay away anymore. She left her safe house and drove toward Ashmore alone. She crossed the blocked roads. She passed the warning signs. She didn't care. She just wanted her son. At the town border, her phone died. Her car shut off. She walked the last mile on foot. The town speaks. When Lena entered Ashmore, she didn't find fear. She found peace. Children played in the streets. People smiled, but no one said anything. Then Danny appeared. He hugged her. His body was warm. His hands were glowing. Double quotes, "Mom," he said. "Welcome back. Where is everyone?" She asked. "They are here. They are awake. I don't understand." Danny touched her head. Suddenly, she saw everything. The vision in her mind. Lena saw a world with no hunger, no war, no lies. She saw machines built by thoughts, cities floating in the clouds, people glowing like stars, but she also saw shadows. A black storm rising from space. A voice that screamed without sound. Danny's voice spoke inside her. "They are coming. We were made to stop them." The other children speak. Lena met other children in town. All of them had powers now. One could grow trees in seconds. One could speak to animals. One could create light with her hands. But they were afraid. One girl said, "There's a broken one." He didn't return with peace. He returned with hunger. Lena asked, "Who?" They all looked toward the mountains. "He calls himself Varan X." The corrupted one. Varan X had once been like the others, but something went wrong during the journey. He hated humans. He hated pain. He wanted control, and he had found a child to bond with, a boy named Jacob. Now Jacob was missing. Last seen near Ashmore. Danny said, "He is gathering the angry ones, the ones who were hurt, the ones who want power." "They're building something," another child said. "The split begins. Not all the Gifted stayed in Ashmore. Some left. Some joined Varan X now. The children of Earth were divided, some for peace, some for power, some for something else entirely. The ultimatum, that night. A global broadcast began. Every screen turned black dot, then a single child's face appeared. His eyes were silver. His voice was cold. "I am Jacob," he said. "I am the voice of the next evolution." He smiled. "You were given a gift. You chose fear." Behind him, Varanex appeared tall, shadowy, broken. "Prepare your world. It will either bend or burn." Back in Ashmore, Lena held Danny close. "What are we going to do?" she asked. Danny looked into the stars again. "We didn't ask to be special. But now we must choose." "Choose what?" "To protect humanity, even if humanity wants to destroy us." A tear ran down his cheek. "We are still your children," he whispered. "But we may not be for long." The world was waiting. After the chilling broadcast from Jacob and Varan X, millions held their breath. The gifted had sent a message. But what did it mean? War? Peace? Something worse? Lena Harper sat in her small house near Ashmore, clutching a worn photo of Danny. The boy she once knew was now a part of something bigger, something she barely understood. She wasn't alone. Across the globe, families watched the skies, waiting for the next sign. The message arrived suddenly, at midnight. Every screen in the world flickered and went black. Then, soft blue light filled the screens. A child's face appeared. It was Danny, but his eyes glowed a calm blue dot. He spoke, but not with words. His voice entered minds like a gentle whisper. "We come not to fight, but to share, to protect, to grow." People gasped. Some dropped to their knees. Others turned away in fear. The meaning Danny continued. "We were changed to save this world. The Varans healed us, taught us, made us strong. But there is a shadow among us, Varan X. He seeks control, not peace. We must stand together." His message was clear. The gifted wanted to help, but warned of danger within. A world divided. Some governments welcomed the message. They offered peace talks. Others prepared for war. News channels debated endlessly. Some called Danny a hero. Others called him a threat. Lena's choice. Lena listened to Danny's voice again and again. She wondered, was this still her son? One night Danny visited her in a dream. He smiled. "Mom, the children are ready. But you must be too." Preparing for the future, the gifted began teaching humans to use new energy, new science. Small towns saw miracles. Crops grew overnight, sick people healed. Machines ran on clean power, but fear remained. The warning then. Message changed. A voice darker and colder spoke through the children's minds. "Choose a side. Join us or be destroyed." It was Varan X. The final question. Lena looked at the stars and whispered, "What will humanity choose?" Ashmore was silent again, but the rest of the world was preparing for war. The world reacts after Danny's peaceful message and Varan X's threat. The world split into two sides. Side 1, the gifted are hope. Side 2, the gifted are danger. Governments grew nervous. The gifted were just children, but with power no human had ever seen. And now, some were following Varan X. The world leaders couldn't take the risk. They created a final plan. Project Recall, a secret global mission, formed by leaders from 12 countries. Its goal, capture the gifted, study them, control them, or stop them. The name came from a single idea: recall the children, or recall the future. Inside Project Recall, General Marcos led the operation. He had lost his daughter in the first wave. She returned different, smiling, quiet, powerful, and then she left again. He never forgave them. He said, "They are not our children anymore. They are something else. We must act." The secret base deep underground in Alaska. A base was built, clean rooms, silver walls, strong cages, not to hold criminals, but to hold children. Inside, doctors prepared scanners. Engineers built psychic shields. Soldiers carried weapons that could fire light instead of bullets. They think like us. One scientist said. No, another replied. They think faster. The first capture in a city in France. A boy named Eli was caught. He had made birds follow him in the sky. People clapped. But hidden agents moved in. They used a tranquilizer that blocked his powers. Eli screamed before falling. Why are you doing this? A woman shouted. A soldier said coldly, for Earth. Danny knows back in Ashmore. Danny felt it. He woke in the middle of the night, gasping. They're taking us, he whispered. The other gifted children gathered around him. Their eyes glowed. Together, they want to stop the storm by breaking the sky. What do we do? A girl asked. Danny looked up. We go to them. Show them truth. Before Varan X shows them lies. The escapee was locked in a white room, cold, alone. But he wasn't really alone. In his mind. Danny appeared. We're coming for you, he said. Eli smiled. The first battle 3 days later. Alarms screamed at the Alaska base. Bright lights filled the sky. The gifted were here. They didn't break walls. They walked through them. Not with weapons, but with power. Calm and deep. Let him go, Danny said. General Marcos aimed a weapon. You are not my daughter's friend. You are her ghost. He fired. The beam struck Danny's chest and stopped. The energy bent. Frozen vanished. Danny floated a few feet above the ground. We don't want to fight. But we will not be cages. The dark arrival just as the gifted prepared to leave with Eli. The sky cracked open. Varan X had arrived, but not alone. Behind him stood others. Twisted, broken, dark gifted. They called themselves the Chosen Ones. Varan X smiled. You speak of peace. I offer survival. He looked at Danny. You delay the future. I bring it now. The choice. The gifted looked at Danny. The humans looked at Varan X. The world stood between fear and hope. And then Lena Harper stepped forward. From the edge of the battlefield, she shouted, they are still our children. If we fight them, we lose everything. A line in the sand. Danny raised his hand. So did Varan X. Light and shadow formed in the sky. 2 armies made of stars. And the earth below waited. The world stood still. Above Alaska, in a sky filled with lightning and stars, 2 forces faced each other. On one side, Danny and the gifted, glowing with calm, peaceful energy. On the other, Varan X and the Chosen Ones, dark and twisted, hungry for control. And below them, all Earth watched, breathless. A mother's voice. Lena Harper stood between the 2 armies. She was shaking, but she did not move away. She shouted at the soldiers, the aliens and even the sky. These are our children. You can't decide their future without us. Varan X laughed. You gave them away the moment you feared them. Danny floated down beside her, gently touching her arm. He said, softly, not all parents are afraid. The spark of rebellion. Lena wasn't alone. Across the world, thousands of parents stood up. Some hid their children from Project Recall. Some broke them out of labs and camps. Some marched with signs. There. Still ours. And some chose to fight. They created a secret network called the Circle. Mothers, fathers, teachers, even ex-soldiers. Their goal, protect the gifted, end Project Recall. Stop the war. The Circle strikes back in one base. A mother named Amara hacked into the defense systems. She used her son's blood, taken when he was tested, to unlock alien code left inside him. And what she found shocked her. The Varans didn't just teach the children. They're still connected to them. The truth revealed. Amara released the files to the public. Video clips, brain scans, alien blueprints. The gifted weren't just changed. They were part Varan now, not fully alien, not fully human, a new form of life. The truth caused chaos. People screamed, rioted, prayed, celebrated that. Some saw it as evolution. Others saw it as the end of mankind. Project Recall pushes harder. General Marcos doubled the forces. He ordered a new weapon, EMP bombs, to be used on gifted areas. These are no longer kids, he told the world. They are threats. One base dropped an EMP on a school in Argentina. 5 gifted children died. 3 parents collapsed from psychic shock, linked to their children at the moment of death. The message was clear. The war had started. The children react. Danny felt the pain from across the ocean. He and the others cried, not with tears, but through the sky. Storms appeared without clouds. Trees grew overnight. Animals ran toward cities. Earth itself responded. It was waking up. The message of the Minden, a bold move. The circle helped Danny send out a massive psychic signal, one that reached every living mind on Earth. People saw a memory, a broken planet, an alien race destroyed by war. The Varans choosing Earth, changing children, not to harm but to save the planet from itself. Danny's voice echoed, "We were never meant to be weapons. We are your future, not your enemy." Varan X's counterattack. Varan X wasn't silent. Spoke to through Jacob, the boy he controlled. Jacob's message was simple. Peace is a lie. Only strength will survive what comes next. And then he revealed it, a dark asteroid, moving in space. Large, sharp, alive. Coming toward Earth. The true enemy. Not Varans. Not humans, but something older, something worse. The parents choose sides now. Parents across the world had to decide. Fight with Varan X, using power to protect Earth? Stand with the gifted, choosing peace and balance? Or support Project Recall, controlling or destroying them all? The world was no longer divided by countries. It was divided by belief. The last conversation. Lena looked at Danny. He looked older. Now, not in body but in presence. He said, "The asteroid brings death. We were made to stop it, but only if we are united." Lena asked, "Can you stop it?" Danny didn't answer. He just said, "Not alone." Final scene. As the stars shifted in the sky, the dark shape of the asteroid grew larger. And down on Earth, a small group of parents stood together. They looked up not with fear, but with courage. One of them said, "They are still our children, and we'll fight with them, not against them." And the war changed, from a war against the children to a war for them. The sky was no longer peaceful. Far above Earth, a dark shape moved slowly, an enormous living asteroid. It pulsed like a heart, beating with ancient energy. It wasn't just a rock, it was alive. And it was coming closer each day. Earth had less than a week. The time to choose had arrived. The Council of Earthworld leaders gathered at a hidden base called Site Zero deep below the mountains. Presidents, generals, scientists, and even a few gifted parents sat around. A single long table. No one smiled. A screen in front of them showed the asteroid. It now filled 1/3 of the sky from space cameras. It wasn't slowing down. It wasn't answering messages. It was just watching. 3 paths. General Marcos stood up first. He spoke clearly. "We have 3 choices. 1. Trust the gifted. 2. Join Varan X3. Fight them all and try to destroy the asteroid ourselves." A scientist shook his head. "We don't have enough time, or power, or unity." Then a soft voice spoke. It was Lena Harper. She had been invited by the circle. Her words were quiet, but they echoed. "You're talking about choices, but none of you are asking the children what they want." The gifted gather at that same moment. Across Earth, the gifted gathered in secret. They came from towns, cities, forests, even from space. Some floated, some walked. Some appeared through glowing doors. Danny stood in the center. Beside him, Eli, Mia, and dozens of others. They were older now. Not in body but in presence. Their eyes were brighter, their voices calmer. But one thing was clear. They were ready. Danny's vision. Danny stepped forward and touched the ground. A wave of energy pulsed outward. All the children closed their eyes, and then every person on Earth saw the same vision, a burning sky, screaming winds, the asteroid opening like a flower revealing machines, claws, and shadow creatures, the Earth cracking like glass, billions falling, silence, and then another vision, the gifted rising, their hands glowing. The asteroid stopped in the sky, light spreading. Earth healed. Then the vision ended. A divided world after the vision. Earth exploded with emotion. Some people cried and ran to find the gifted. Some picked up weapons, demanding control, and some joined Varan X. He stood on a broken mountain surrounded by his chosen. They were darker now. No longer children in any way. Varan X lifted his hand to the stars and shouted, "You've seen the truth. You either rule the storm or die inside it." Jacob's betrayal. Jacob, the first boy taken by Varan X, now looked more alien than human, but something inside him still remembered. One night, he spoke to his mother through a dream. He said, "I didn't want this, but I can't turn back now." She woke up crying. The message from the asteroid. Then something happened that changed everything. The asteroid sent a message, not through machines. Not through sound, but through fear. Every living human had the same nightmare. A giant voice whispered into their soul, "You failed your world. Let us begin again." And in that moment 20 satellites fell from orbit. The final meeting, the circle, Project Recall, and the gifted met in a hidden cave. It was the only place safe from tech, satellites, and Varan X's spies. They sat in silence. Then Danny stood and said, "We're done hiding. This is Earth's test. Not just ours, yours too." Lena looked at him. "What do you mean?" Danny closed his eyes. "We can stop it. But only if Earth chooses peace, not power." The hardest choice, Danny explained. The gifted could link their minds into a single powerful force, but it came with risk. If even one child gave in to anger, the whole link would collapse, and the asteroid would win. Someone asked, "Then, what's the choice?" Danny answered, "We're asking the world, trust us. Let go, or lose everything." The vote. For the first time in history, a global vote was held not just by governments, but by people. Phones lit up. Cities went quiet. The question was simple. Do you trust the gifted to defend Earth? Why yes or no. The vote ran for 12 hours. And then, the results came in. The world answers yes. 62% nitrogen monoxide. 38%. It wasn't perfect, but it was enough. People had chosen, and the gifted began to prepare. Varan X strikes, but Varan X had other plans. He sent the chosen to strike major cities. In New York, Paris, Tokyo, dark gifted shut down power grids and whispered fear into minds. He sent a final message. You chose the weak ones. Now, watch your world fall. Danny's final words before the final day. Danny visited Lena one last time. He hugged her. She held him tight. "Are you afraid?" she asked. Danny nodded. "But not of the asteroid," he said. "Of what?" He looked into her eyes. "Of losing myself. Of not coming back." She kissed his forehead. "Then promise me one thing." "What?" "No matter how far you go, come home." He smiled and floated away. The final hour, the sky turned red. The asteroid had arrived. Its surface cracked like old skin, glowing from inside. Sharp towers rose from its body. Thousands of dark machines began falling from the sky like burning rain. Earth had run out of time. The gifted assemble from every corner of the planet. The gifted gathered, children glowing like stars. Calm, focused. Danny stood at the front on a mountain peak overlooking Ashmore. Beside him were Eli, Mia, Aisha, and over 700 other children. They joined hands. Their minds linked. Together, they became something greater. One voice, one mind, one chance. Inside the network, Danny's eyes closed. He saw the world not as land and oceans, but as energy, fear, and love. He felt every person who said yes. He also felt the ones who said no. But most of all, he felt Lena, his mother, her heart, steady and full of hope. "You can do this," she whispered from far away. The battle begins. The asteroid opened. Black creatures poured out. No eyes, no hearts. Just rage. They fell to earth like ash. But the gifted were ready. They didn't use weapons. They used thoughts. With a wave of the mind, they stopped machines in mid-air. With a breath, they turned explosions into wind. With a single word, they made the ground rise to protect cities. But Viren X was watching. The betrayal from behind. The Chosen attacked, led by Jacob, his face now glowing with red veins. They struck the gifted hard, with anger, with power, with doubt, and the connection between the children began to shake. Danny's struggle inside the link. Danny felt fear creeping in. He saw pain, death, the falling cities. He saw Viren X smiling. "You can't win," the dark voice whispered. "You're just children." But then, he felt something else. Lena's voice. Her memory. The sound of her reading to him. The way she hugged him tight when he was scared. The day he built his first toy rocket. And then, the faces of all the parents who stood with them. Jacob breaks free. Jacob saw his mother in a memory. She was laughing, holding his hand, making pancakes. He screamed. He pushed Viren X out of his mind, and just like that, Chosen connection broke. Jacob collapsed, but he was free. Viren X's final move enraged. Viren X left Jacob's body and flew into the sky like a storm. Grew. His body became black lightning. He aimed at Earth's core. If he struck, everything would end. But Danny was waiting. The final decision. Danny had one option left. Use the full power of the gifted link. Destroy Viren X, but risk burning out and never returning. He paused. The others waited. Then Danny smiled and whispered, "We decide who we are." He rose into the sky. Light versus shadow above Earth. Light met darkness. Viren X screamed. Danny said nothing. Just one blast, pure, white, warm. Not of war, but of memory, of love, of peace. The light spread across the sky, pushing Viren X back, turning the storm into calm. And then, silence. Earth holds its breath all across the world. People watch the sky. The asteroid stopped. Then it crumbled slowly, gently. No crash, no fire. Just dust, falling like stars. The gifted fall. The children collapsed one by one, not dead, but asleep. They had used everything. Doctors rushed. Parents held them. Soldiers wept. And then one by one, they woke. Mia opened her eyes. Then Eli. Then Ashisha. And finally, Danny. The return home. Lena ran to him. He was thin, tired, but smiling. "Did we win?" she asked. Danny nodded. Double quotes. "No, we didn't win. We just survived. Together." 6 months later, the world changed. No more gifted camps, no more fear. The circle became a global alliance for peace. The gifted went back to school, still special, but now accepted. Ashmore was now a symbol of unity. A new flag flew there. 2 hands, 1 human, 1 glowing, holding the earth together. One final scene. Lena sat on her porch again, just like she did the night it all began. Danny was inside, drawing planets. She looked at the sky. Peaceful. But never the same. And she whispered, "They came in peace. Then they touched our children and gave us hope." The end. Thank you for watching.